Let's go back to the beginning. Can you hear me now? Yay! Okay. Oh my god. Looks like the microphone above me died. So I have to use my Blue Yeti mic. My trusty Blue Yeti mic. Okay. Now, if only I could go back to the beginning of this thingy. You may want to redo your vlog from today as well. Yeah, I probably should, now that I know that no one could hear me. Yeah. Oh well. Alright, well, I'll do that later. Thank you, Hope, for coming to see me today. I haven't been on YouTube for a couple of months. Been busy with various things. My middle brother just graduated from high school. I helped another friend move in. I started writing and creating my own visual novel. So I've been taking classes with digital rendering and manga and stuff like that. So I've been doing that of late. But something that's been on my mind for a long time, and I really, really want to talk about today, is the Mandela effect. At least that's what they're coining it today. It's really starting to bother me. Every time I go into the library, I just keep getting reminded that I'm not in the same timeline than I was just a few years ago, and definitely when I was born. Like, we are totally on a completely different timeline than we were when we were all born, like 20 years ago or so. I mean, we're somewhere else. And one of the things that, I hate to say it, but one of the things that's really been peeving on me is the Sex and the City. You can't go anywhere in any library or any video store without seeing it somewhere, because it's one of the most popular shows out there for ladies right now. So every time you go into the library or you go into a video store, there it is. You know, right in front of your face. Sex and the City. And it's not. It's Sex in the City. And that's something that grammatically it has just been bothering me, as well as the fact that I hated the show, so I always remembered it as Sex in the City. It's the thing I hate. But now it's not. And it's not just that. Obviously, there's so many different things that have changed in the last couple of years, to the point where people are now having compilations of everything that's changed to them over the last couple of years, and more being added every single day. From Flintstones to now Flintstones, Berenstain Bears to Berenstain Bears, Kit Kat with an apostrophe, no apostrophe now. I mean, even the human body has changed. When I was taught in school as an elementary school kid, a middle school kid, and even beginning high school kid, whatever, I always was taught that my heart was on my more on my left-hand side of the body. Now the heart is directly in the middle, with only a little bit into the left and a little bit to the right. So that makes no sense to me whatsoever, because I always held my hand over my heart doing the Pledge of Allegiance. You know what I'm saying? Like, the heart was over here. Now the heart is in the middle of your body. That, all in of its own, is like a wake-up call. And I didn't even notice that until somebody said it. I'm like, that's ridiculous. And they have all these new models, or I guess new models, but they're actually old models of the human body, and all of them have been changed. Whether if it's in a physical textbook that's more than 10 years old that you have in your house, or online, it doesn't matter. They all show the heart being directly in the middle of the body. Not only that, but there are now missing ribs. Some of the, not spare ribs. What am I looking for? The lowest ribs, false ribs, way down below. 2 of them are now missing. And it's true. Like, my youngest brother is extremely skinny. It used to be that he couldn't put his fingers underneath his bones. Okay? Like, he couldn't do that. Now he can. In fact, he can go so far deep that he feels he's almost touching his stomach. Like, he couldn't do that before because there were more ribs down in his body, keeping him from doing that, from going that far up. But now that there are less ribs, he can do that. And that's something he was never able to do before. And no, it's not because he's gotten taller. In fact, he stayed the same height his whole life now. He's been like 5'4" for the last 6 years. So he drank too much coffee. But anyway, these are things that are almost impossible. A lot of the things, though, that I've noticed is that it's famous movie lines in titles. For some strange reason, that's the thing that's been really hitting it home for everybody and is the most talked about. But it's not just that either. I'll bet you that there are whole continents like Australia. Have you noticed it lately? It looks like it's been pushed far north to where it's almost smashing into the Philippines. I'm like, what? Wasn't it completely disconnected and farther south? And also there was an island that was just off of New Zealand that used to be on the north, now it's in the south. So it's not just movie lines anymore. Physical continents have been changed. Bridges that used to exist now no longer exist, or new bridges exist that never did exist. Like they've been saying, a lot of people have been saying Staten Island now has a bridge where it didn't. You had to take a ferry to get over, and now there's a bridge. And it's not like it's a new bridge that just got installed 10 to 15 years ago, and maybe tourists from 20 plus years ago had to take the ferry, and now there's a bridge, so it all makes sense. No, this bridge is over 60 years old, and when they went only 20 years ago, they still had to take a ferry. So I mean, there's so much here, so much evidence that we are now in a completely different reality. Herein lies the problem, though. My research is starting to show, from asking my friends of my friends, my family, is that the majority of the people are from this reality. Only a small percentage are actually from another reality, my reality, reality A, as I'm calling it. The problem is, for these people, this is reality A, and our reality is reality B. So both sides think the other is crazy. Absolutely nutso. The underlying problem is that we are now all under timeline B. So no matter what we say, the physical evidence, the movies themselves, the actual places, the pictures, all show reality B. So no matter what you say, no matter what you think, reality says otherwise. And so they think you're crazy. In fact, everybody else thinks you're crazy, and you start to think you are crazy because you keep checking the physical reality and it keeps showing you something different than what you remember. And so you start thinking, well, maybe my memory's really bad. as you start to conform with the current reality just on necessity, just to make it through life. But the fact is, you are not from this reality, you're from another one. And the cause of this is just as weird as the event itself. It could be that a time traveler from 20 years ago, or 20 years ago, 20 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, 200 years from now, went back and changed one thing or two things, and that change caused a chain reaction, which changed our reality into a parallel reality from the one we remember. That's one theory. So time travelers basically screwed everything up. Or this is actually done on purpose to save the majority of mankind from a disaster they know is coming. The second option is that it's an intelligence not of this earth. An extraterrestrial intelligence has actually shifted a amount of people into another reality, or has begun to shift or meld two realities into one. So again, the extraterrestrial part of this entire equation. I think the most realistic one, believe it or not, is what you're seeing on your screen right now, the D-Wave, the quantum computing computer. It has the power, believe it or not, in one chip to hack into over 1 billion parallel universes, and there's hundreds of chips in there. So with quantum computers, you can literally go into any parallel universe you wish and take any amount of information that you want and synthesize it into reality. So basically what you're saying is, imagine another parallel reality as a piece of DNA, okay? Just like you can snip out a segment of DNA and then put it into another piece of DNA, and now the whole DNA chain has been changed. It's the same thing. Snip out parts of another timeline and put it into ours, and then our entire timeline is now shifted or changed, transformed into a brand new timeline. So if they have this ability, and I think they do, it could be that somebody in this whole quantum computing thing has been basically playing pranks or test runs with this thing, saying, well, what would happen if we changed the name of the Berenstain Bears to Berenstain? So they literally type into their computer, obviously with lots of different coding and whatnot, that in history, the Berenstain Bears is now Berenstain. And that's the title that they went with, the original creators. So now every single book and video from then on out is now Berenstain Bears, as far as we know. And so that was mission success. Another thing, changing the Coca-Cola logo from a Coca-Cola to Coca-Cola, like no dash. Even though you're thinking, this is stupid, these are tests. Technically, these are tests. Test A, B, C, D, E, F, all the way to probably double Z. Like, test after test after test, seeing what can they change, what can't they change. If they can't change it, why? What can they do to change it? Like, that they'll keep shifting things around, changing things around, seeing if this test worked, if this test worked. Nope, that didn't work. Okay, what if we change this event and this event and this event and this event? Therefore, the event that we wanted now changes. And so it does. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're testing to see how much power they really have. And the result is what you see before you. All the movies and TV shows and video games changed. Entire continents moved. Now that's where I'm starting to get kind of on the edge of my whole quantum computing thing. How the hell would they put into code that they want the entire continent of Australia to shift like 400, 500 miles north of where it was? I mean, they would have to go back into the planet's birth and have it so that somehow the volcanoes erupted in such a way in that the lava shifted farther north or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, they would have to get down to the planetary code itself if you think of the universe as a giant matrix. They're hacking into the matrix to the point where they can literally shift continents. If they can do that, they can do almost anything. They could literally change gravity on a dime. They could make the weather do whatever the hell they wanted. That's like cosmic change. They're literally playing God. So that's what I'm starting to believe, is that this whole quantum computing thing is probably the most logical answer, is that they're playing God. And like Jeff Goldblum says, just because you can doesn't mean you should. At some point, if they keep changing things, they could irreparably change it to the point where something very negative happens. Disastrous could happen. Because what they're doing is they're probably taking code from this parallel universe in which this event actually occurred naturally, and shifting into ours. And then taking this bit of code and this bit of code. Eventually, you're melding so many parallel universes together that it's just a mess. And at some point, it could snap, it could rupture, it could explode, it could implode. It could split off into other parallel universes of its own. Who knows what it could happen if you keep changing it so much. It's like a whole bunch of patchwork. But anyway, so that's the idea for today, is the Mandela effect. What have you experienced in your life so far that is completely different from what you remember? Down to the smallest detail, like I clearly remember having my orange juice completely gone, consumed, and now here it is completely full again. Something small like that, or my car keys were disappeared and now they reappeared 3 hours later. To as big as my city has completely shifted like 30 miles north or something. Like as big as entire cities moving and continents moving. I haven't noticed changes that you speak of. See, that's the problem, Hope, is that there are two groups of people here. Actually, there might be three. There is Timeline A. I'm just going to say my timeline is Timeline A because I'm one of the shifters myself. So I'm Timeline A. You might be one of the people from Timeline B. Now, we are all currently in Timeline B. So, if you think about a sequence of events, and that's a timeline, it's sequential, it's linear, this event leads to this event, leads to this event, to this event, to this event, in a line. That's a timeline. That's Timeline B. If we're all on Timeline B, then everything in the past to you, to a person who has always lived on Timeline B, well, that's just the way it was. There is no change for you. There's nothing. There's no change. Nothing. Nada. But to those who were from a different timeline, where they had different events in the past, and now have been shifted into Timeline B, they're the ones like me who are noticing all these changes. But to those who are of Timeline B, which is the majority of the people here, nothing's changed. Nothing. Absolutely nothing has changed. And then there's actually a very fragment, I think there's another timeline that's beginning to enter ours now, Timeline C, where they disagree with both of our timelines. They had completely different ideas of reality than both of us combined. And that's starting to happen. Like, they don't remember either of our realities. So we've got an even bigger problem where there are multiple different people from multiple different realities shifting into the one. And so you've got some people remembering some things, some people remembering other things, and the majority of the people remembering this. So it's hard to explain to a person who has not seen any changes, is because they're from this timeline. They just think every one of the shifters is crazy, and they shut them off and move on with their life. But for those who are the shifters, the shiftees, like I am, like my family is, quite a few of my friends, we're looking around like, what the fuck? You know? A supernatural deception. Well, that's another one of my theories. Is that it's the Great Deception by Satan. Um, and it says in the Bible that even the elect, the most good people on earth, will be deceived. And I'm not saying that I'm like a freaking saint, but I'm a pretty good person. And I'm noticing these changes. So if this is the Great Deception, then yeah, I've been deceived. I mean, everything around me has changed. Titles of movies, entire lines from movies have completely been. They're gone. They don't exist. Street names have changed. Continents have moved. Like, it's so big that yeah, I've bought into this thing. I mean, how can I not? Every time I get confronted with another object, another place that has changed, and I know that it was something completely different, I can't help but go, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, and I'm trying to move on, but it just won't stop. If anything, it's getting worse. Like, it almost seems like the shifting is still happening. Like, it didn't stop. It's still shifting. At least for me. And for my family. Like, we're noticing new things almost every week now. And it's not just us. It's the rest of us from the original group that shifted. We're all noticing more changes. So I don't know if we've actually gone into another timeline C now, or what. I mean, this is just crazy. And if this is the Great Deception, then I think we just found it out. It's just unbelievable. How did you get into the whole Mandela effect, Hope? Like, how did you get into it? Like, how did you find out about it? You're talking about things of the world and the great deceiver. Only one way to stop it. Jesus, yeah. Sorry if there's a lag, but that's just the way it is with live streams, is that there's usually a 15 to 30 second lag, depending upon the person's computer. So I do apologize. Wow. Just getting that off my chest is uplifting. You know, just getting it off there, like, whew. It's a lot, you know, when you just walk around and everything's changed. You feel like you're either going crazy, or this is one big, very, very realistic dream, or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it feels like. It feels like I'm in a very realistic dream, and I'm going to wake up at any point and find out that this is all a dream. You know, that's what I feel like. It's just so big. It's so in my face. It feels like a dream. You know? Anyway. Yeah, so I came here to talk about the Mandela effect. Anybody who comes on and has questions, any comments, feel free to say so in the comments below, to the side, wherever it is, whatever it is for you guys. Feel free to comment, ask questions. This is what we're all here for, is to help each other. For those who haven't shifted at all, well, you either have left because you think that this is crazy, or you're curious. For those who have shifted, either from timeline A into timeline B, which we're in right now, or timeline C coming into timeline B, you're not alone. You know, you're not alone. You're not the only one who remembers Sally Field's saying, "You love me. You really love me." Like that was a very important part of the Academy Awards. Like that was a very important moment, and we all remember that. And now it's not. It's, "You like me now. You really like me." Like it. Anyway, so you're not alone. You're not alone. This is you're not isolated. You're not crazy. There are millions of other people like you who have shifted into this current reality. But there are billions of people who haven't shifted at all, and they're like, "You guys are all crazy." And they tune them out and chug down a beer or go partying or whatever. They don't have time to think about these things. It's too crazy for them. And I think most people live in a box. It's for those who have shifted, who suddenly have been popped out of their box, and some of them don't know what to do. Others have always had one eyeball out of the box, and like me, and were able to more easily take it. So my next question, of course, is where's it going? You know, as a shifter, a shiftee myself, will I wake up one morning and find out that the sky is green and the grass is purple and there are organisms on the earth that have replaced the cats and dogs, the pets, with rat-headed beavers who sound cute and fluffy cockroaches or something, like just Dr. Seuss bad. Like literally, what the fuck? Like you start losing your mind. I'm just waiting for that to happen. Like one morning, everything has changed to the point where wood is no longer the main thing that builds buildings. It's stone again. Like we're back to the Stone Age, or it's some kind of silicon crystalline building structure. And I'm just so blown away that I go in a corner and start crying, or I start screaming, you know, because it's just too much change. That's what I'm fearing might happen, is that the shifters keep shifting and shifting until we go into a reality so different from our own that we're in an alien world. At the very least, this is a wake-up call that reality is not the way you think it is. For instance, what's on the screen right now? Yoo-hoo. It's Yahoo. You know? Yoo-hoo. I mean, it's just so weird. Satan wants you to be afraid. It's probably true. It's probably true. But you know, as long as I have my family with me, I think I'll be fine. Overall. But if I was by myself in an alien world, that might get to me. You know, I think that might get to almost anyone. If you suddenly woke up in an alien world with no family, or with a brand new family that you do not know, you might start to lose your mind. And that's when the only thing you've got left is to call upon Jesus. Call upon God Himself to keep you safe. Because obviously it's the ultimate test. Can you be removed from everyone you know and everything you've ever known and still believe in God? Still remain faithful? If you can do that, then you can do anything. I mean, there's no stop to your faith. There's no stop to who you can be. That is the ultimate test, isn't it? How long is this thing going on for, anyway? 38 minutes. Wow. Time sure flies by when you're talking about conspiracies. God knows there's tons of them. There's so many. From the... What am I thinking? Manchurian Candidate. From Mandela effect to flat Earth to... Yes, but we cannot do it alone. The Holy Spirit helps. That's true. Yeah, there's so many conspiracies out there. There's so much paranormal stuff to talk about. I literally could do an hour worth of monsters like vampires and werewolves and ghouls and satyrs and centaurs and fairies. You could do hours worth of ghosts. In fact, I think this house that I'm in is haunted. So far, knock on wood, it seems to be a residual haunting. One of those hauntings where they keep reliving the same moments over and over and over, like a wheel. It just keeps like a movie. It just keeps replaying over and over and over and over again, which is the good thing, because it's just basically residual energy replaying itself over and over again until it's completely depleted. It's the ones where they move objects, they can speak to you, they're intelligent, they go against what they did yesterday, they do something completely different. And those are the ones you have to look out for, because they're most of the time not friendly, or at least not pleasant to be with. So yeah, so there's a lot to talk about, and I'm glad that I got to start my Parahour series with something that's really been bothering me lately, something that keeps coming back to haunt me, is the Mandela effect. Like right now on the screen, there's the fact that the Scarecrow is now holding a gun. The Wizard of Oz has always been a family-friendly movie. Never did the Scarecrow hold a gun. I mean, that's just crazy. Yeah, Tin Man had a hammer. Yeah, the Cowardly Lion had a net to catch bugs and stuff. The Scarecrow, I don't think he was holding anything, or maybe a stick of some kind. He was not holding a gun, that was for sure. In fact, I was just in The Wizard of Oz a year ago, playing the Cowardly Lion, and I did not hold a gun, and my friend who played Scarecrow did not hold a gun. Like, it was crazy. But now suddenly, in the last couple of months, boom, he's always been holding a gun. Like, that's just crazy. Or yeah, the Monopoly thing with he no longer has a monocle. Like, that's just crazy. Yes, but the world is changing things to deceive those who do not remember back then. That's true. For those who don't remember the way it used to be, they're deceived. They don't see the changes. Like in the Bible, there's this verse where it used to be the lion lays down with the lamb. Now it's the wolf lays down with the lamb. Like, I'm just upset about that. I mean, or the wineskins has now been turned into bottles. And there's even mention of the word stuff. S-T-U-F-F. Stuff. In the Bible. That is a modern word. And there was no such thing as stuff in the original Bible. I am not a Bible thumper. I am not a guy who knows the Bible top to bottom. But one thing I do know is that there was never any mention of anything even remotely like stuff in the Bible. Not from any Bible from the 1900s all the way up to probably about 2000. Nothing. And suddenly all the Bibles, including the old ones, from way back in the 1920s, the 1960s, all the old family Bibles have all been changed. So it says stuff. I'm like, what? So maybe there's something to what you're saying, Hope. Maybe he's trying to pull a blanket over our eyes, trying to deceive us to believe in him and in the evil he does, and not God and the good things he does. You know what I'm saying? And he's not going to do it all in one fell swoop. It's going to be increments, like a little bit here, a little bit there, and over time it completely changes the meaning of everything we've known. Which Bible version? Satan is great at making subtle changes to turn everything upside down. Yes, that's very true. The King James Bible has been changed. But it's not just that. It's like every Bible. But specifically, a lot of people do know the King James Version, and that is the one that has been changed. It's just crazy. But even the Lutheran and the Baptist Bibles, they've all been changed. But the ones that everybody knows is the King James Bible. That's like the majority of Christians on earth have the King James Bible. And that's been changed. It says stuff. It says bottles instead of wineskins. It says the wolf lays down with the lamb, not the lion. I mean, it's just crazy. And that's not the only verses that have been changed. Those are the three that I can remember off the top of my head. After watching so many different Mandela effect videos over the course of the last couple months, and then doing my own research on various movies and whatnot, changed. Yes, at the request of the Vatican. That's not true. I mean, yeah, it's true that the Vatican wanted to change things, but I'm saying old Bibles, like from 1928, that are almost falling apart, say stuff, say wine, they say bottles instead of wineskins, they say lay down, the wolf lays down with the lamb. Even old Bibles that have been in storage, that have been in people's homes and are basically falling apart and smell like old books, even those have been changed. Videotapes, VHS tapes that are obviously frozen in time. Once you put the film underneath the red light and you develop the film of the VHS tapes or the Commodore 64 tapes, it's over. There's no way to change them anymore. You would have to copy what is there and then alter it. You can't alter what's already there, and yet that's been altered. It's just crazy. I have King James Version. I haven't noticed a change. Seriously. It doesn't say the wolf lays down with the lamb. It doesn't say stuff in like 3 different places. It doesn't say the wineskins are poured out into. Huh? Like when I looked it up in my own Bible, I can't remember where it's at right now, because the last time I had it was a couple of months ago when this whole Mandela effect started to blow up on the internet. I pulled out my own family Bible and I looked up the same verse that they were talking about. It's true. It was the wolf laid down with the lamb, and then the stuff was there. And my book was probably a 1980s book. It's a little more newer. Little more new than his version from the 1960s, but still, it never said that before. It's just crazy. It's like no, it doesn't show the changes. See, that's another thing. There are remnants, echoes of the changes before it happened. Like the famous line, Luke,
I am your father.
has been changed to, no, I am your father. Well, there is a remnants of the past, because when you listen to James Earl Jones talk about that famous line in an interview, he says, Luke, I am your father. Luke, I am your father. He says that. Or Interview with a Vampire, the star of that was Tom Cruise. And in the interview, he says, interview with a vampire, not the vampire. So there's like remnants of the past. Like, not everything has been deleted. Not everything has been changed. There's like a piece here and a piece there of the past. So I wouldn't put it past the powers that be, bad, the demons or otherwise, that they didn't change everything. Not every Bible, not every verse. No, there's might be some that have been unchanged. And those are the pieces of evidence that need to be thrown out there for the public to see. Look, this is the way it used to be. It's true. Not everything has changed. There are pieces of evidence of what it used to be if you have the eyes to see. You know what I'm saying? How are we doing our time? 50 minutes. Okay, so I got like nine or so minutes left of my Parahour. So yeah. For most of you, you will not notice any of the changes because you are from this timeline. You do not see the changes at all. You do not understand what we're talking about. This is completely foreign to you, and most of you will shut it off and move on with your life because you don't see the changes. It's the people who have shifted who will see the changes and are basically trying to find others like themselves who have come from that timeline, who have seen the changes, to get together. You know what I'm saying? And I'm one of those shiftees. My entire family is. And I guess if nothing else, we're just trying to figure out what happened and why it happened. If nothing else. And that's why I continue to do research and I continue to delve into that world to see if I can figure out why it happened. And that's why I wanted to start my Parahour series with something that I'm actively researching right now. The Mandela effect. Next up on my Parahour, I'm going to either do the Flat Earth thing, which is also like the rage right now on the internet, or to talk about aliens in general, like alien life. Does it exist? Or not does it? Do they exist? Why are they here? If they are here, if they're not here, why are they not here? That whole thing. So I'm going to do either one of those two things. Another big subject to hit, and then after that, probably something about ghosts, because that's another thing that's been happening lately with me is the whole ghost thing. The spiritual realm has been hitting me lately. Any questions that you guys have? Any comments? Go ahead and post them now. I'm going to be ending this in about 9 minutes. I am so sore. The other day I helped a family member, a friend, move, and I think I did it a little bit too much. I lifted 2 heavy couches, a love seat, 2 hardwood hutches, a very filled toy chest filled with PS4s, PS1s, 2s, an Xbox, tons of games. Like, it was just chock full of stuff. And then surrounding it was a very heavy blanket, a comforter. So I think I might have done a little bit too much, so my arms are like killing me. They're like, oh God, why did you do this to me? So yeah. Oh, I should have said this a long time ago. If you're not currently subscribed to my channel, make sure to subscribe right now and hit that like button if you like this video. If you did not like this video, then obviously hit the not like button. I understand some of you will not understand what's going on and you'll just downvote it. Whatever, that's fine. But make sure to let me know what you feel. If you have an experience that you would wish to share, put it down in the comments below, whether it's today, tomorrow, 5 months from now. I will keep watching the comments from these para videos because I'm very interested to see what you have experienced in your life dealing with the Mandela effect, ghosts, aliens, conspiracies, etc. It's like basically my guilty pleasure, if you will. So please make sure to comment and let me know. If there's something that you would like me to talk about, also put that in the comments below, and I'll try to make a video of it as soon as possible. Alright. Since there seems to be no one else talking at the current time, no comments, I might just end it a little bit early. I don't want to go over unless there's a reason, So I might just end it here, try to close my thoughts. The world is changing. For those who are from another timeline other than the one that we are currently on right now, you are not alone. I do believe in my heart and my soul that the changes are not over. If you can believe it, this is just the beginning. This is the fingernail of the change. This is the edge, the very beginning, the first ray of sunlight of the dawn of the change. And the change is. If you can believe that. There's something inside of me that's saying that it's not over by a long shot. This is actually the start of the changes, and it's going to get more tumultuous, bigger, more in your face every day, every week, every month, until the changes are so evident that no one will be able to deny it. In fact, there will be panic in the streets, people screaming, looting, rioting, just literally hiding in their homes because they can't believe that their world's changed. I can see that happening, whether it's from a natural cause. We're just going through a time of great change, as the Indians, the Aztecs have said, or whether this is something satanic. This is the Great Deception, as Hope has said. Whether this is the government testing out a new toy, if you will. Whatever this is, it's not over. It's just beginning, and we're all in it. We're all in it for the ride. So strap yourselves in and get ready, because it's going to get very interesting over the next couple of years. I also see an acceleration happening very soon. I can feel it. It's going to accelerate faster and faster until we get to the 0 point, the point of no return, the final shift, the biggest one, where we're all in alien worlds. We're all in completely different realities, where it's so evident that you're not in the same reality that you cannot deny it. There's no way you can't deny it anymore. So we're on a ride together, and hold on to Jesus, hold on to your family, hold on to your sanity, and let's make it through this together. And my name is George Keller, and you have been watching Parahour number 1, the Mandela Effect. And please join me for another Parahour in the future. I'll be doing one at least once a week. Unless you guys want more than one a week, then I'll do more than 1 week. Otherwise, I'll be doing a Parahour once a week, every week from now on. So make sure to subscribe and like that video. And this is George Keller, signing out.